Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're all well. So today's training is on speaking to third parties. So if you're forced to co-parent with someone who is high conflict, toxic, narcissistic, abusive, difficult, whatever it may be, and you share children, obviously, because you're co-parenting or co-parenting, which is really parallel or counter-parenting, it will be necessary for you to talk about your experience, not just to your friends and family, but to lawyers, the school, maybe the family doctor, mediators, your therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever it may be. So there are third parties, basically anyone who is not you, that you need to communicate with about your experience. Now, obviously, with some, it is more important to communicate in an effective way than with others. So with friends and family, it's not so important to get the point across because there's nothing at stake for them to know the details, unless they are enablers or flying monkeys or just as toxic as your high conflict ex. Or if it's your high conflict ex's family members, then there could be a different story there where you will need to edit yourself or limit contact or even cut contact depending on kind of the backlash that you're receiving from those family members. So friends and family, they love us, they support us, or they should do. If you have a toxic family, maybe not, but as much as they love and support you and care for you, they will not know what you're experiencing. They will not be able to understand. They'll just hear your words and maybe have some sympathy, but they will not be able to really get it because they haven't been through that particular experience. Now, they don't have to have been through narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse, to understand it. They just need to be there for you, to support you in the best way that they can. That goes for friends and family. Sometimes they can not understand, and that's okay, but sometimes they can do more harm than good because they may tell you that maybe you just need to try harder, or maybe it's just a communication issue, or maybe you're just incompatible, or are you sure that you are not expecting too much from your high conflict ex. Those comments and questions are not helpful at all. They are not helpful. They're not supportive. They're going to make you doubt your experience. They're going to make you feel guilty. You might even feel shame. Nothing against religion, but if you come from a religious background, they may be giving you advice like you should stay together, give it another go, do this, do that, try this, that and the other, and keep you in an abusive situation longer, or at least keep you in guilt and fear and shame mode. That's just an example of how friends and family can be detrimental to you and your healing and you moving forward when they don't fully understand. So another group of third parties that are important for you to be able to communicate your experience effectively with, you don't have to give them the whole detail, but it is places like the child's school or the family doctor. Okay, that's important because they need to know. They don't need to know the details, they don't need to know the ins and outs, you don't even need to say the N word, we don't use that word, and the other N word, not that N word, by the way. Okay, they need to understand that you two are not on the same page, not because you're not trying, it's a high conflict situation. Okay, so they need to understand that if things are difficult, if you're meeting in front of the teacher or if your child is acting out, that there are a few things going on. And the same with the doctor, the family doctor. So they need to understand, because your child might need a care plan, they need to understand that maybe you two are not going to be on the same page. Maybe you want to provide medication for your child and your high conflict ex doesn't, or your high conflict ex wants to go to another doctor, or just basically whatever you're saying, they are doing the opposite. This healthcare provider needs to understand that you two are not on the same page. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend explaining that face to face with your high conflict ex in the same room. I would explain that separately if you can. And again, same with friends and family, unless they've been through it firsthand, which we find it's a very obscure topic. Even if you have some awareness, you don't really know what it is. and they will not really understand. So that's why it's important not to blurt out everything. as you would normally to someone. You know, you need to kind of edit what you say, how you say it, and when you say it as well. Okay, and then the third group of third parties are people within the legal system, so lawyers, attorneys, mediators, judges even. They are not experienced with narcissistic abuse or emotional abuse. They may have some awareness, but usually not. You would assume that they know, but they don't know. Okay, so for you to use the N-word would be really detrimental, because all they're going to focus on is you diagnosing someone when you do not have the credentials to diagnose them. So it's better to, and I say this to my clients all the time, explain the behaviors, explain the effects it has on the children. Okay, because it always needs to be about the children from that frame. Also, if you do give a lot of information about your experience, which I'm not saying you can't, I'm not saying not to, you just need to filter what you say, how you deliver it, so that they can help you in the best way that they can with the limited knowledge that they have. Okay, and there's actually another group like the therapist, counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist. They are not all created equally, as you likely have found. Okay, they are not trained specifically in narcissistic abuse. They may have covered that in their studies. It may have been just a passing unit or page in a textbook. Okay, I'm just not saying that because I'm saying that. I hear that from psychiatrists and psychologists myself, the ones who come to me for support with dealing with their high conflict ex. Okay, it's very unfortunate, and they do feel a little bit of shame. I'm just saying personally, these clients of mine feel a bit of shame because they should know, they feel they should know. This is why do not feel bad for being duped by somebody like this. It's not because you're stupid or you didn't see what was coming and that you were supposed to know. It's not true. You can be the most educated and qualified person and still not see what's happening underneath your nose, right in front of you. Okay, therapists, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, they are not necessarily trained in this kind of abuse or abusive situation. So don't take it for granted that they know exactly what you're talking about when you are explaining your situation. Okay, and again, you need to be discerning with what you share, how you share it, and when you share it, so that they can help you in the best way that they can, and not just get lost in maybe your story, because they want to help you. That's what, that's why they're in those positions, but they need to help you in their best, the best way that they can. And also, if they're not experienced, they can sometimes be re-traumatizing and re-triggering, and that's not your fault, but they can ask you questions and make you feel like maybe you're high conflict, maybe you're in the wrong, and they can possibly gaslight you as well. So just be really aware of that. So when it comes to third parties, they come into these four groups. Be really discerning with what you share, when you share it, and how you share it. And I'm actually creating some resources on this that I mentioned a little while back. They should be available next week. Fingers crossed. So if you are watching this live, please write live in the comment box below. And if you're watching this after the fact, so the replay, please write replay. The reason for that is Facebook doesn't show live videos within groups to everybody within the group, unfortunately. So by commenting below live or replay, it tells Facebook that this is a video that people are engaging with, so it will show it to more people within the group. It's only a small group, but still not many people get to see the notification that I'm going live and when I'm live. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate that. So third parties, dealing with them, you've likely experienced people not understanding, people doubting your experience, people questioning you, people gaslighting you, even friends and family, unfortunately. So please bear in mind, it's the, who are you sharing it with? Be discerning on what you share and how you share it. The resource that I'm creating will be going into that into a little bit more detail for you. Because it's important, if these people are going to be helping you and advocating for you, especially if they're your lawyer, they need to understand, or your attorney or your solicitor, they need to understand your situation in the best way possible, because they do not have this knowledge of narcissistic abuse. It's very rare to find someone within the legal system who has first-hand experience on this. And if you have found somebody like that, that's excellent, because at least they have some kind of knowledge. Other than that, I will see you next time. I hope you're great. Have a great day or evening. Please comment live or replay, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.